Welcome back. Now for your 5-day weather forecast, we go outside to Sarah Savage.
It's only the second day of spring, but it feels more like summer. Yesterday, Toronto set a record high of 20 degrees, and we're expected to set another record today. But the warm weather won't last through the weekend. Now here's your 5-day weather forecast. Today is expected to be sunny with a high of 23 degrees and a low of 16. Tomorrow should see a mix of sun and clouds with a chance of showers, a high of 25 degrees and a low of 13. Friday, a high of 16 degrees with a low of 9 with a mix of sun and clouds. They're calling for showers on Saturday with a low of 7 and a high of 8 degrees. And the showers are expected to continue into Sunday, but will be clear by the end of the day with a high of 12 degrees and a low of 5. Now that's your 5-day weather forecast. Soak up as much sun as you can. Now back to the newsroom.
Thanks, Sarah. Police in Toulouse, France are preparing to storm an apartment building following a lengthy standoff. In the building is a gunman suspected of killing 7 people in the last few weeks. Hundreds of riot police are surrounding the building in the southwestern city. Police conducted a raid before dawn and have been negotiating with the suspect for hours. 3 officers have been wounded. 24-year-old Mohamed Mourad is suspected of killing 3 Jewish children, a rabbi, and 3 French paratroopers.
Former junior hockey coach Graham James has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for sexually assaulting 2 former players. James pled guilty to 2 counts of sexual assault involving ex-NHL player Theo Fleury and his cousin Todd Holt. The Crown was seeking a 6-year sentence in the case. Many are reacting strongly to the short jail term. Holt called the sentence a travesty in a statement to the media. We spoke to Humber students to find out their reactions to the announcement.
2 years is enough when you look at the effects that it's had on those people's lives. They've had to live their entire life for it. He's only got 2 years in jail.
And the fact that he's ruined so many lives, it's just unbelievable.
It's a shame. A lot of good people who do a lot of good things for kids. Parents aren't going to feel comfortable leaving their children with them.
I just think it shows how horrible our justice system is.
People are in jail longer for smoking weed, so that's not okay.
A Nunavut man was shot and killed by an RCMP officer late last night. Mounties in the hamlet of Igloo Lick had stopped at the man's home when he apparently began uttering threats while holding a weapon. Police have not identified what kind of weapon the man was carrying. His name and age have also not been released. An investigation is ongoing. One officer suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
Hundreds of former Aveos workers are expected to flood the Quebec National Assembly today to ask the province to save their jobs. Aveos, an aircraft repair company, said Tuesday it would be shutting down its main plants in Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Montreal, as well as smaller plants. The company has laid off almost all of its 2,600 unionized employees and is liquidating its assets. Aveos gets about 90% of its business from Air Canada. Air Canada says 3,000 passengers could be stranded daily if Aveos does not complete ongoing work on some of its planes.
Canada Post will mark the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic with 4 new stamps. The stamps will be released on April 5th, 10 days before the anniversary. They show images of the ship meant to showcase its massive size. The supposedly unsinkable ship sank in the North Atlantic on April 15, 1912. More than 1,500 lives were lost. 4 ships from Halifax took part in the rescue mission.
And now with your sports news, here's Luke Vermeer.
The Toronto Maple Leafs lost again, this time 5-2 to the equally hapless New York Islanders. P.A. Parento had a goal and 2 assists, while Matt Molson added a couple markers of his own. The loss was the Leafs' 8th in a row at home and their 7th loss in the last 9 games. Phil Kessel had his 36th goal of the season in the loss. The Leafs will be back in action Friday night when they travel to New Jersey to take on the Devils. Sidney Crosby's second return this season continues, and as it turns out, he's just as good as when he left. The Pittsburgh superstar had 4 assists in an 8-4 victory over the Winnipeg Jets last night to push his points total this year to 21 in only 12 games. The 21 points this season give Crosby 131 in his last 82 games, 23 more than the next closest player, his teammate Evgeny Malkin, and 33 more than third place Claude Giroux. Crosby hopes to continue his torrid pace tomorrow when the Penguins host the Nashville Predators. The bad news continues for Toronto sports fans as the show formerly known as Linsanity rolled over the Raptors 106-87. The New York Knicks had 4 players with 17 or more points, including Amare Stoudemire, who paced the Knickerbockers with 22 points and 12 boards. DeMar DeRozan led the Raptors with 17 points. Toronto will be back in action tonight, hosting the Chicago Bulls at 7. Switching to football, the Denver Broncos have their quarterback, and his name isn't Tim Tebow. Peyton Manning, the most highly sought-after free agent, officially signed in Denver, spurning the Tennessee Titans and San Francisco 49ers in the process. The deal is reportedly worth $96 million over 5 years, with $18 million guaranteed for this coming season. In the world of soccer, the best player in the world added another record to his already glowing resume. Lionel Messi had a hat-trick against Spanish side Granada to push his total with Barcelona to 234, 2 more than the old record held by Raul. Messi already has 54 goals across all competitions this year, 1 less than his career high of 55 from last season. And finally, Toronto FC will be without their captain for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Torsten Frings strained his right hamstring in Saturday's season-opening loss to the Seattle Sounders. The injury means Frings will miss TFC's upcoming Champions League fixtures against Santos Laguna of Mexico on March 28th and April 4th. And that's your sports news. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Luke. After the break, we'll have your entertainment news with Adriano Mancini.